What's going on, DMG Clan? Today we're leveling up the Odin 2 Mini with the Sakura Retro Modding PlayStation Edition button. So you're not going to want to miss what I have in store. Let's level up your modification knowledge even more in 2024. That's right, mobile gamers. Like I said in the introduction of this video, we're going to level up the Odin 2 Mini to make it look more like a PlayStation, PS Vita kind of thing. And we're going to do that with the Sakura Retro Modding buttons that you see here. Yes, I've done this before with the Odin 2, and I'm also giving away that very Odin 2 to one of you once the channel reaches 30,000 subscribers, and I have finalized the PlayStation series. If you don't know what that's all about, go check out the PlayStation series playlist, because I am giving away an Odin 2 base model to one of you that is a PlayStation Edition model that has the Sakura Retro buttons that you see here. They're very professionally done. These are the ones that are for only the Odin 2 Mini. He has a whole bunch of them, or they have a whole bunch of them for different devices. Now, did I just lose that? There it is right there. And you can use different buttons altogether. So if you wanted to get A, B, X, and Y Xbox style buttons for your Odin 2, the base model that is, then you could. As the Odin 2 Mini has the A, B, X, and Y layout like this, which is nice, and I like that myself. However, I wanted to turn this more into a PlayStation model, PS Vita, because I'm also giving away this PS Vita to one of you. What? No way! Well, yeah, I'm giving away this PS Vita, or not this PS Vita, this Odin 2 to one of you guys, and that was my plan to begin with. If you made it this far into the video, the first 2 minutes ish of the video, then yes, comment on this video to gain an entry into this Odin 2 giveaway. Now, I have these pads on the back of here, so hopefully that doesn't interfere with taking off this back plate, and the reason I have that on here is so that it doesn't move around on the desk and stuff. So I am also using a foam piece of board. I don't think the Odin 2 Mini came with the foam, so I'm using one from my Retroid actually, and the reason for that is just to help so that it doesn't interfere with the sticks. And yes, you guys are gonna win one of these, or this one in particular, because I honestly think that you guys will enjoy this device in your hands more than I do, because I really just play on my Odin 2, my regular sized one. Now, this back plate does come off very easily. I actually peeled it off with my fingernail the very first time I had this thing, and it really is the easiest thing to peel off. It's just clipped in. Now, I would highly recommend you to use a plastic spudger when doing this to make it a lot easier. As you can see, it was a lot easier to get off. And I'm going to clean the insides of this as well afterwards. So if you want to gain an entry, again, I like giving things away to you guys, and I'm not going to tell you when we're going to run the giveaway for this one right now, because I haven't decided that yet. I want to work on one giveaway at a time, obviously, but this is going to be a part of giveaway as well on the channel, and that'll be down the road, maybe at like 40,000 subscribers or something. And the reason why I do it that way is because it's an appreciation thing. For those that keep asking, why do I have to subscribe for you to give something away? Well, that's part of how I do things. So if you don't like it, then don't subscribe and don't get the opportunity to actually be able to win something for free that I've paid for. I've paid for all this stuff. I've put my money into it. And you viewing these videos helps with me paying for those. As by the way, for every 1,000 views that comes to a video, I make pennies on the dollar for that, based off of the ad revenue kind of thing. So I have a video actually coming out for that as well. So I highly recommend you guys to get a placemat like this if you want to. I put everything in the description below. Get a nice kit like this one. I've also put links in the description below. This is my favorite kit. I share this with all of you guys all the time when I do anything like this. So I'm going to be using, I think this might be a PH0 bit Phillips screwdriver bit on the left hand side here. So that's where we're going to be working. And I did turn off my device first. Highly recommend turn off your device before you actually get inside of it. And the reason why I like this placemat is because of the numbering system it has. Now I'm going to put all these screws for this part on number 5, and the reason why I announced that while I'm doing this is for my own sake. Now, I've never taken this apart yet, so I don't know what I'm going to be getting myself into here, and how to actually get inside here. So I'm just kind of guessing and winging it because there's no guides on like iFixit.com or anything like that to actually know how to get in here. And it looks like maybe this entire back plate has to come off. That's going to be kind of fun. Or maybe I'm wrong. So we'll try to get into that and see what we have to actually do. So I'm going to try to pry this open. And yeah, it kind of looks like this whole piece, this whole plastic piece might be one whole entire piece. I don't know. So yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. So I'm kind of investigating here. So we're going to have to take out all these screws, I'm pretty sure, to actually get inside, because I was trying to bend that up. I don't want to break anything, obviously, because this is going out to someone that's going to enjoy it. And this is the base model. I've tested a bunch of Switch on it. I've tested a bunch of Wii and all that kind of stuff. And it works just the same as the Odin 2 base model does, that they sell on their website as well for $2.99. Now, if you like the PS Vita style buttons and everything, or the PS Vita style device that everybody loves, then you'll love this thing. Now, if you don't want to gain an entry into this giveaway and you don't care for this thing, then go check out the PlayStation playlist. I'm just gonna ramble on while I do this because, again, I like to talk. Sometimes I like to share a little bit of this kind of stuff with you guys and my experience of everything with you guys. And if you don't like me, or you don't like it, or you don't like my videos, or you don't like anything to do with me, subscribe anyways. I don't care. Just subscribe. It's free. You don't have to worry about even watching any of my content. You can just subscribe, help the algorithm with the channel growing, because I love doing this kind of stuff. And if, again, you have a problem, take it somewhere else, because I really am over caring about certain things. So yeah, I think these screws have to come out as well. And I just lost one of my my triggers. These triggers look exactly like the PS Vita ones. Let's see if we can take these screws out. I think these screws are all basically the same, by the way. I don't know where I was going with that sentence, by the way. I don't know what I was trying to say. I try not to say too much sometimes, but sometimes I ramble on and I say what I'm thinking. And some people say, oh, I think you're too honest sometimes, but because you're back talking people. And I'm like, well, not really. I'm kind of just saying what my brain says, and we're just talking. We're having a chat. And if people take it to heart, I'm sorry, but not sorry because I'm Canadian, eh? So yeah, Canadians say they're sorry. We're not really sorry. We're just saying, hey, be quiet. I don't really care. And yeah, that's how I think of it. Now, we're going to unplug this one too. This unplugs. There's a cord right here that unplugs. And yeah, this whole back plate looks like it comes off. And this speaker, I don't know. I don't know about this. I'm trying not to tear at anything here. There's a wire under there as well. I'm going to probably have to get tweezers out after. Here, let's grab the tweezers now because there's a plug there. There's a plug there that popped out. So I'm going to grab my tweezers. And I could get underneath this too. Now, I thought these speakers would have just popped out. And again, I haven't watched any videos or anything, and they do pop out. Okay. And I just like to kind of investigate things like this, and that's how I learn how to do it. Because I've had experience with this kind of stuff. I used to buy, sell, trade cell phones and stuff like that back in the day. And I also worked for a company for a quick minute because I wanted to, you know, get paid to do it a little bit better. And I basically said I didn't like this company and said bye-bye. So yeah, so what I did is I just grabbed the tweezers and I popped that out. So this one's a little bit of a different one compared to the Odin 2. Now this cord is for the fan, it seems, and you want to be careful with that. And we're going to grab our tweezers. Now, we're only working on this side over here, so I shouldn't have to... Yeah, I shouldn't have to take that out, okay? We're going to do this upside down, though. So just be careful with all those wires and stuff, and the speaker cords. That's all that all these were, was just speakers. And that's the speaker one right here, so make sure you put it all back in after you're done. Now, on this side of the actual board, that's what we're working on with these buttons over here. So let's put all this stuff aside. Let's keep all these screws together because these screws are all the same, and these screws are the ones that were for the speakers. So we could actually technically throw the speaker on the floor, I guess, and put that there. Okay, so now we're still working with a Phillips screwdriver head, and make sure your triggers go back into place, because you don't want to put this all together and then realize that you have 2 triggers just sitting on your desk as well. So I'm just going to put those back in there for now. And we got screws here for the joysticks. So these joysticks are a little bit different. Well, they aren't different. They're the same, but they have metal plates on them. So those are a little bit longer. I'm going to put those at number 103. And the reason why I want to take this out first, make sure you take your joystick hats off as well, like I did at the beginning, is because we're going to take out that ribbon cable for that joystick. Pop it off. Then there's a little white line on this. That is actually a nice liner for you to actually check to make sure your joystick's actually all the way in. And yeah, it's really cool. So we are going to take out all these other screws. I'm going to put these at 62 because I'm going to assume they did this with all the same screws as well. And if this one looks longer or anything, then I'll change it to like 63. All 62 still. Yeah, they're all the same length. So you can use this as a guide for yourself if you want to buy some secure retro modding buttons. That person really does a good job with these, and they should get more recognition than they deserve. Or they do get, I mean, not deserve. Because I love all their buttons, and yeah, they do a really awesome job with them. Now there's a cable right here. As you can see, I took my time with that. Pop this one off as well. Now you could, battery connectors probably underneath all of this plate and everything. So technically you should take the battery out, but you should be fine if you're very, very careful with regards to like shorting out anything. So this piece right here is the dust cover. You want to make sure you put that back in afterwards as well. I'm going to put that right there. And then we're going to try to pry this board up. Oh, there's another screw. Careful. Another screw. Pay attention. Another screw. Okay, another screw right there. Don't pry anything. If it doesn't come up, don't keep trying to pry it because there's obviously something going on. Now, I'm going to pop this board up. Now, sure. And just be nice with it and just let it sit like that. Now we can get on the insides. We're doing surgery here, boys and girls. Or men and women. Whatever. So this is all glued down. That's fun. So that's probably why there is a little bit of a divot on these ones, because these are glued down the way they are. So you're gonna have to be very careful with this, because why they did this, there we go. So I just used my nail and there's that glue popping off right there. So that, I don't know why they glue their or there we go. So it does come off easily. Just be very careful. Don't rip it. Don't get mad at it. And there we go. Okay. They're all coming off nicely. And there we go. Just use your nail. Use even the end of this spudger or something too. And then we're going to grab our new buttons. We're actually just going to place these right in. So circle's going to go... I'm going to try to think about this. Circle's going to go right here. Square. Upside down, right? So it's kind of a different way to think about it. Oops. Trigger again. There's square. Triangle should be at the top. One way. Make sure thicker side's on the left-hand side. And then obviously the X is at the bottom. And again, like I said, this guy does a really good job, or this person does a really good job. I don't know if they're a guy or a girl or whatever. So yeah, they do a really great job. Sakura Retro Modding, go check them out. And now we can just place this all back into place. Then we're going to seat this all the way down. Be very careful at lining this up. Don't want to break anything with the board or anything, obviously. Another thing you could do is pop out that cable right there. Yeah, and I think that's what we're going to have to do, because this Kapton tape out of here, flip this tab up. How we should be down. Then use that Kapton tape. Don't peel it all the way off, but you can use that Kapton tape to kind of move that ribbon cable that's underneath here back onto place. Then fold it back into place. I know it's kind of hard to see that, but right here I just basically left the Kapton tape on it so that I can actually see over. Now that cable did end up going underneath. fine. But we're going to hold this for a second. I want to make sure these buttons are maneuvering nicely, which they are. Now I'm going to put one screw in. So the screws are right here. And I'm going to put this screw in right here first, just to hold that down. And then I'm going to use my tweezers. Line the trigger button cables into place. Make sure the tab is flipped up. So this little black tab right here, make sure that that's flipped up. And you can try to line that up the best you can and then push that tab down. Click down and then there's the white line. You can see it's kind of straight. And then the same thing with the bottom one. Make sure the tab is flipped up. Try to usually just push that black. Just be careful with it and it'll just slide right in usually. Right, so there we go. And again, this is going to one of you guys. I will include the original buttons too. I always like to give you guys the original buttons. The last person that won, they got the Xbox One, but I also put the original buttons in there as well, so that if they wanted to switch it back, I guess they could. Now, the same thing with the Odin base model. You're going to get the original buttons for that as well. And they're already inside box in the bottom of the box. So now, don't like the PlayStation style buttons and you wanted to try to put the original ones back in, you could. So here we go. Now we're going to put those screws back into place. So we're going to grab these screws first. I know I didn't put the other ones in yet, but I want to put this back in here first because that dust cover, I want to make sure it's in there. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this kind of modding stuff. I know this is probably going to be like a 20-25 minute video of showing how to do this, but there you go. Now you know how to actually do it because that whole entire inside backplate does have to kind of be taken out and those cables have to be unseated or removed so that you can actually get inside of this. So definitely an interesting way to do things with a huge piece of plastic in there, but that's probably the best way that they could come up with when they designed this device. And I really like the Odin 2 Mini, but honestly, I like the bigger devices, and maybe it's because I have bigger hands. I maybe could get like an hour of gameplay out of this thing myself, but maybe some other people might enjoy it more than I do. So that's why I'm giving it away. And again, stay tuned for that. Comment on this video anything you want to gain an entry, and then we will put this back into place. So this cord is a little bit stiffer, it feels like, so that's fine. Now make sure your triggers are back in there, make sure everything is all back in here, and then we are going to reseat all these cables while it's unscrewed. I highly recommend it to do it that way because you can just go back in and try to mess with it after if you need to. But while it's unscrewed, we can maneuver it and just pop it back into place with the plastic. Be careful of these little cables. These little cables are very fragile. Now for this left speaker, probably put the cable in first. You can guide it with the tweezers, but don't pinch it, just guide it. Because it wants to twist, it seems. Or you can try to do it like this way. Make sure you put it in the right way too. Okay. Now we can push this down. And here we go. And then this cable right here gets pushed back into this piece right here. Now that's back into place. And we can put all these other screws back in. So these were the screws for the speakers. I don't think they're different than the other screws, but I just put them over there just in case. And we're almost done. We're almost ready to actually put this back together or turn it back on. Check out the new buttons. Give the big reveal that I've already kind of shown at the beginning. And then add the final touch of something really cool that I like to add to the PlayStation Edition Odins, which is custom PlayStation logo that I make out of vinyl using my Cricut. So I'm going to put all these screws back in, and then we'll get to that part. There we go. Now that's all screwed back together. We can put this plate back on the back. It just clips into place. And we can take a look after we put the C-stick. You can buy this C-stick on Etsy, by the way. I designed these myself. And look at that. Xbox style. Pure retro modding buttons. They feel really good too. I actually think they feel better. Turn this on. Joystick calibration, gamepad test. Our A is now our square, or our X. Circle is our B. Square is our X, and triangles are Y. And that is awesome. Those work really well. They don't have any problems. So let's go back home. And there she is. The GameCube, PlayStation Edition, PS Vita Edition, Odin 2 Mini with the secure retro modding buttons and my fancy little logo that not really mine. It's PlayStation's. Playing some God of War. Have a nice day, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time. I love you all. Bye-bye!